Drives again, back to Davis. Davis for three. Bang! Anthony Davis from downtown. And the Lakers take a 9-point lead. Timeout, Miami.
Crazy, go party till the early morning. The Lakers bring the trophy that California purple glow. And the Laker players, cause we down with the crazy.
And a big middle finger to all the Laker haters tonight. You're listening to West Box Score. I'm Alex Gonzalez, and I'm joined by two other big Laker fans right here. Sonny Romano, Donald Paz. What's up, guys?
Yo. What's going on?
It's a celebration, bitches. I love it. Number 17, dude. Can you believe it? Congrats.
Whoa. We can't count 17 now.
Oh, here we go. We don't.
Hey, look, I'm a diehard, okay? But we don't count the 5 from Minneapolis.
You got to, though, man. The franchise. They are the franchise. Give them respect, dude. Come on.
I give them respect, but you got to earn your time. For LA, okay. It's 12, all right?
For the Minneapolis Lakers and the Minneapolis Lakers and the LA Lakers, 17 world championships combined as a franchise. You got to give them that. They're tied with the Boston Celtics now for world championships. And this was an exciting one tonight for Lakers fans because it was the Lake Show, man. It was all Lakers from the second quarter. And then it was just like this, they are up by 28 points at halftime. The second largest lead in the NBA Finals at halftime ever. And then it was just an entire 24 minutes of victory parade. It was awesome that way, right? Or would you have preferred the close game that we had prior? Sonny shaking your head. No, why not?
No, dude. I felt like I had to, and I almost did. Had to take like a nice hot shower after the last game of this series, which is game 5, because I was drenched in sweat. I thought that was the closeout game, the way Braun was playing, the way the team was playing. I thought, hard fought battle, only to end up ultimately losing that game. So it was refreshing to not have to sweat in outs, a drop today. It was nice, man, to just be able to enjoy the game, enjoy that defense, thinking about, man, like how blessed are we, man, as Laker fans to now get to experience, like Alex and I were talking about earlier, our 6th title since being alive, I guess. Well, no, not since being alive, actually. They've had more titles since I was born, but that I remember seeing,
right.
It's been 6 for me now. So, yeah, it's just very gratifying. So I'm thankful. I'm thankful it wasn't a close one tonight.
We are hashtag blessed here. For real. Donald, what were your thoughts on this game tonight?
Similar to Sonny, man. I was really I wanted it to be a blowout, even though I don't like blowouts, but I feel like that's the only way you were gonna beat this Heat team. So I didn't want a close game. Obviously, I think before the game started, I was walking my dog to make sure he was tired so he doesn't bother me while the game's happening. But I'm reading the news as I'm walking him, and I'm seeing the news about Alex Caruso starting. So I'm like, okay, what does this mean? But kind of understood why. But I was kind of just thinking like, well, like, hopefully this works. Obviously, you still have one more game to go if it doesn't, but you get the news of Dragic also coming back, and it's like really weird because you don't know what's going to happen. So in the moment, I'm just thinking like, oh man, it feels like both teams are just putting out everything right now. Like it just felt like it was like everyone just mounting up. It's like mount up, let's go, and it's like all out war, and it just felt that way. Around that time before tip-off, it just felt like both teams were gearing up for a big kind of hard-fought battle. But then when the game started, and then I think in the middle of the first quarter, it kind of just felt the Lakers were just having way better rhythm defensively. And like Sonny said, and like you mentioned too, Alex, like it just felt like after the second quarter, it felt a lot like it was a pretty much a done deal, like going into halftime. So really excited, really happy that they won it, really happy that they got the title. I think the city of LA needed it, for everything we've gone through in terms of just sports in general, with a lot of close titles, but no rings.
Wait. The city of LA needed it. What do you mean the city of LA needed it? Laker fans deserve this and earned this. Don't wrap LA into all this. As much
they
as I
are
love
one and
my
the same.
LA,
They are LA Lakers fans.
But Donald's over here talking about like all the close titles we've been in, like AKA the Dodgers or somehow have something to do with this Lakers chip. It has nothing to do with the Dodgers. The Lakers are their own
of some sort to have in Los Angeles.
Let the Dodgers take care of business in 2 weeks because it's still on the table. But for now, this is all about the best franchise in LA, the one that matters the most, the purple and gold.
That's true.
LA is purple and gold right now, and they are, as Donald said, the Laker fans wanted a parade. They're making their own parade right now as we're recording this, 8:00 at night on a Sunday night. They're in front of Staples Center right now.
Wear those masks.
What's up?
I said, wear those masks.
Wear the mask. Hey, man, if you're gonna be out there, just wear your mask. I get you guys are we're all happy right now, man. We really are, but just be safe, dude. Like, go celebrate. Honestly, you should be celebrating at home on a Zoom call the way Donald and Sonny and I are, and get out your bottle of Bucanes and give a cheers right here to our 2020 world champion Los Angeles Lakers. Man, it just sounds good and it tastes good too.
There you go. Enjoy that.
Victory is sweet. All right, guys. So I gotta say, it was scary though going into this game 6. I'm not gonna lie, after what happened in game 5. I mean, that was a close game, as you mentioned, Sonny, and I was on the edge of my seat for it too. And I just had this sense where this tide was turning because the Lakers were in the Mamba jerseys, like they were going to close it out. We were all ready for the parade and the celebration then. And when we didn't get it, it kind of felt like, the wheels are coming off now. This 2020 year is going to get it's going to get crazy again. Just when you thought it couldn't get any crazier. But wait, there's more. And we were going to see the Miami Heat pull off a miraculous upset, go to game 7. And game 7, anything's going to happen. Game 6. Because that's what I texted in our group. Like, if the Lakers don't close it out here, it's going to go to game 7.
So
I wrote them off.
You let that Dodger fandom seep in. And you had no faith in this actual team. You let that trauma from one franchise just kind of blend over into the next.
You're right.
When the Lakers have proven throughout these playoffs, they lose a game, they recover.
As Donald said, we've been through a lot. We've been through a lot in this LA fan.
There you go. I will not let this be co-opted or taken over by Dodger talk. We will get to the Dodgers.
We will. But yes. I right away wrote, I felt the wheels coming off. I'm like, this is it. Miami's picking up momentum. Jimmy Butler's going to put the team on his back again, like he did in that game 5, which was ridiculous.
How did he look tonight? You
know what he looked like? And I said this was going to be our only hope. He was going to be tired. I was hoping he'd be tired coming into this game 6.
Well, and Bron wasn't tired. AD didn't roll his ankle twice in that game.
He also had the AD injury, dude.
Come on.
What looked like an injury.
Yeah.
I mean,
but I say that actually, all due respect to Jimmy Buckets, man, because he literally put that team on his back for 2 wins. Hard fought. I mean, it's 2 of the best performances of all time, really, if you think about it. It sucks that he's on the losing end of it. But the fact that tonight, I think he only had, 12 points, 15 points, maybe, something like that.
Oh, I didn't even see.
It was 12 or 15 points. I don't remember exactly. It was like night and day, man. Lakers he was a non-factor today. It was a non-factor. The Lakers defense just clamped down.
Yeah.
And yeah, props to Frank Vogel, man. I mean, I will say at the end of, as we're going back in time, and we all, it seems like it was years ago now that Danny Green missed that shot at the top of the 3-point line. But I remember my gripe being with specifically with Frank Vogel is that in that crunch time down on the stretch, why Caruso wasn't in there instead of Markieff Morris.
Yeah.
I had other friends and other buddies telling me why wasn't Dwight in there instead of Markeith, et cetera, et cetera. So we had that dialogue going on, and I was clamoring for Caruso, only because that dude's defense has just been out of this world.
Yeah.
Complimentary, of course, to AD and KCP, et cetera, and Rondo. But I feel like he's proven down the stretch you can rely on him. And so when I saw Frank Vogel throw him out in the starting lineup today, I was hyped. I was like, yes, this was the last move to make, the last adjustment, if you will. And yeah, I mean, I don't think his numbers looked great, but I think, like Donald said, he was just so active. And the whole team, as a result, was very active and just throttled the Heat, man.
Yeah, I think that even Jeff Van Gundy made a good point in the broadcast about how there's a lot of different things that could have happened that would have probably sealed that game for the Lakers on Game 5. The pass to LeBron, all this other stuff. So, yeah, it's crazy looking back at it, though.
Yeah, there were so many... Looking back at looking at it in real time, I felt like, how did he miss so badly? And I think he went on to say that he had more time than he realized. And we got it as we're talking about Danny Green missing that shot. We have to condemn, of course, all the Laker quote unquote fans who sent on social media death threats to him and his fiance. That is not the right kind of fans to be, man. I get we're fanatical about our teams. But to wish death upon somebody for missing a shot in a game, you can't be doing that, especially online. I get that you have this freedom that you could say whatever you want and there's no repercussions for it. But to wish death upon somebody's, that does a lot to somebody else's mental psyche. And he's still on your team. Like, man, you want him to make shots in the next game, man.
They're just clowns. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to quickly get that out of the way. Just say we don't approve of any of that stuff, dude. Root for your team and obviously root against the opposing players, because I said this about Jimmy Butler in that game. Like, I want to punch him in his talented face. Because he's so good and he had that team on his back.
I like Jimmy Buckets, man, but he just how should I put this? I don't think any of us, even as Laker fans, right? If we were trying to be objective, I don't think any of us really knew that it was going to be a fair fight for him. I mean, he was going up against LeBron and AD. But again, that's why it was so impressive that he was able to take. It wasn't. I think we talked about this in the preview. I felt like it was going to be a short series. Obviously, I had predicted 5. Shout out to Donald who called it in 6.
He did, yeah.
But I did maintain that it was going to be a hard-fought 5.
Yeah,
if that made any sense, that's exactly what it was. It was a hard-fought 6. I guess
it was a hard-fought 5.
I guess it was a hard-fought 5. So I guess I was right, technically.
Yeah. Looking at this Miami team, though, it kind of makes me think that I'm pretty sure Pat Riley is going to figure out how to get another superstar. Because they're that close. If Jimmy Butler was able to do what he did on his own and make it competitive, man, with a second superstar, it'd be insane. So it's crazy, but there's definitely something there in Miami already. So
yeah, and Dragic was out right since game 1. Game 1.
Yeah, he only played one half, and that was it.
It could have been a whole different series had he been healthy this series. I mean, that maybe wouldn't have been enough to get the Miami Heat over the hump, but it could have gone further or a lot closer, at least in this game. I mean, to go back to your point, Sonny, about the hard-fought 5, Game 1 and Game 6 here, the opening and closing games were all Lakers, all dominant. So, I mean, this has just been an incredible feat that the Lakers accomplished here in this weird 2020 season that a lot of people are going to, have an asterisk next to it because it was a bubble season. It doesn't even count. Like, I have a Laker hater friend. He's kind of a friend, but it shows the 4 rings for LeBron, and there's circles around each ring. So the first ring, it says Ray Allen. I guess that's Miami.
Come on,
so, of course. And then the second Miami ring, strike season.
Come on, man.
And then the Cleveland ring, Kyrie. And then, of course, the fourth ring, bubble. I love the way Laker haters and LeBron haters here, at one point, we were kind of the same person.
Whoa,
I'm sorry. Laker haters and LeBron haters. LeBron haters have now become, LeBron lovers because now he wears our colors. I was always in that whole LeBron versus Kobe camp, right? Like when you had to like pick a side. Who did you pick? You had to pick like LeBron or Kobe.
Kobe, as I've stated before, Kobe was my favorite player growing up. I mean, first it was Eddie Jones. Shout out to Eddie Jones.
Nice.
And then
number 6.
And then it was Kobe when we drafted Kobe, and obviously we shipped Eddie to Charlotte.
Right.
And Kobe was my guy, basically, for the rest of the time. And I distinctly remember when LeBron was the chosen one, coming out of Akron and reading all the hype and whatnot, of course. And at the time, you have to remember, Kobe. I always felt like Kobe never really got the props that he was due, whether it was because of Shaq, being on the same team as Shaq, whether it was because he was playing with the Smush Parkers of the world at the time, et cetera, et cetera. And it felt like everybody was always, trying to knock Kobe. And some of it was because of his off the court issues. And I get that.
Yeah,
but
of course.
But I always felt like Kobe was wrongfully like slighted by many.
Yeah.
And so then when you saw LeBron getting a lot of national, praise, of course, instinctively you get defensive. You get more like, what? Y'all are ready to crown LeBron? You don't even realize what you have in front of you in Kobe, the best player in the game right now. So that was always my feeling. As I never hated on LeBron, though. It was more resentment as to why are y'all paying attention to Bron when Kobe's giving you night in and night out, these epic performances. But I always, and then it turned at one point. I want to say shortly after we won our last title in about 2011, and shortly when LeBron went to the Heat, I think the next season, or that same season. And it just became like something went off with that dude. And it got to the point where I could no longer defend the argument. I could no longer defend Kobe. In other words, because in many people, in Lakers' eyes, right, it was always like, no, the GOATs are Jordan. If you're old school, you'd say like Magic, Kareem, and then they'd be like Kobe, and then LeBron's after, blah, blah. And then, like I said, in 2011, I kind of stopped kind of making it vocal, where I was like, no, I don't know. I'm not so sure anymore. And then 2012, 2013, 2014. And by 2015, it was like, nope, LeBron's past Kobe. And this was before LeBron was a Laker. Right, so I had already accepted it. To me, it was like, if we're just being basketball purists or objective,
unobjective,
then it's almost like a no-brainer. And I would have this argument with my fellow Laker fans who'd be like, "No, man, it's still Kobe. Fuck LeBron." Blah 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 blah.
The rings.
And I'd be like, "Nah, you're just hating at this point." And so then I kind of knew that there was always a chance that LeBron would come to LA because there's been whispers of that
already.
And maybe that was part of me why I decided, you know what, there's a chance that the King comes to LA at some point. Let me not, dig him or give him too much. And sure enough, man, it paid off because now I'm like singing his praises like, I told y'all, Laker fans.
He wasn't washed up. He's only 35. He's still in this prime. That's what we're arguing right now. Which is crazy.
But let that discussion go to bed. Like, it should have been put to bed. And Donald, I'd like to get your take on this next. But to me, again, as much as Kobe will forever be my guy, he was my favorite player growing up. It is what it is. To me, it's Jordan and then it's LeBron, and that's it. So the rest you could kind of interchange however you want.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts, man?
No, similar to you, man. I grew up a Kobe fan. Obviously, I think that was just our generation, our guy. Just like how, depending, I guess, if you're Gen X or above, like your guy was probably Magic Johnson, the 80s and whatnot. So I grew up a Kobe guy. I loved Kobe. I thought everything he did was great. But to your point on the whole comparison within LeBron, I feel like it didn't. Another addition to Kobe that didn't help him was the fact that he also wasn't like a public guy. That he was very like private and all that. And the thing is, like, if you want to get like the media praise, if you want like First Take to talk about you in these comparison discussions, you kind of have to be a little bit out there, which is what LeBron is pretty good at. You know, he's pretty good at being the media guy, you know, having the HBO show and all that. And even though that's all off the court stuff, that also, for whatever reason, translates to impact. If we're just talking about impact in terms of like, well, how often are you seen and how often are you talked about? And the fact of the matter is like Jordan's impact was more like him being this big wow factor when you saw him on the court. Like it was just watching a god play. And then on top of that, like he started the whole sneaker culture thing. And like everything that we talk about in sneakers now traces back to Jordan and how cool he made it and how cool he made all that feel. And Kobe was just never that guy. Kobe was a guy who was like, I just want to perform on the basketball court and be loved for that. And
Kobe was that guy at the beginning of his career. And then when he had the legal troubles, it seemed like that changed and he became more introverted.
Yeah.
And maybe rightfully so. You know, maybe he learned like, oh, if I live my life in such a public way, this is what kind of could happen.
Yeah.
Because that's when he lost all the sponsorships. You know, he used to be with Sprite. He had the Adidas, those spaceship looking shoes, the Kobe ones and all that. So I do remember that vividly. But yeah, to your point, Donald, as he was hitting his prime, that's when he became more of an introvert.
Yeah.
And I think, a lot of the media just didn't talk about him like that.
No, and I think that plays a factor too. So, but it's crazy to see LeBron do his thing. I've never been like a huge LeBron hater. I've always respected him. I remember in high school, there were guys that were fans of LeBron. And I didn't understand why, because he wasn't a Laker. And I was like, why do you guys care about this dude in Cleveland? You know, like LeBron's my boy, you know, and obviously he already had the Nike deal, the branding, it kind of all went hand in hand. And like, it was insane because I never knew why it was such a big deal, even though I kind of knew why, but I just felt like, but he's not a Laker. Like, we shouldn't really be giving somebody this much props. And maybe that was just me at the time, being 18 years old and not really knowing enough or knowing, you know, what I should be knowing in terms of like basketball purism. But then I never really hated him. If anything, I was just kind of jealous about how much he was able to accomplish, even till this day, being able to go to finals as many times as he did and all that. So
let me put it to you this way, man. We all remember vividly LeBron's hype coming up through high school and what it was going to be like when he was drafted. And it's so funny because I think, you know, the internet's undefeated and they'll bring up old clips of like that Cleveland team talking about when LeBron was getting drafted and you had Carlos Boozer, Darius Miles, and all these dudes talking about like, we'll see if he fits in. He's just another player. But like, you know, they were kind of killing his vibe and all the hype. But think about it. There was all this crazy hype around LeBron and all these expectations. And here we are 16 years later. And it's hard to argue that not only did he live up to those expectations, but one could say he exceeded those expectations, right?
And he's still exceeding them.
Well, that's what I mean.
Done, you know?
Exactly. And the reason why I say that is because, well, I guess the Jordan.
That's a tough one to let's hear this argument you're going to make for
here's
exceeding the expectations.
Because unlike this is the argument that if I had to make this argument for LeBron versus Jordan, right? Which again, I've already voiced my opinion. I still actually maintain that I think Jordan is the GOAT.
Right.
Again, maybe that's because I'm more of my era. I remember watching Jordan play as a kid, putting the fear of God into me, and that being what it was. So I vividly remember those '90s Bulls. But not even Jordan had the expectation that LeBron had on him. Year in and year out. I mean, Jordan, as he started winning later on, then it kind of became an expectation again that the Bulls are just going to win it again. The Bulls are going to win it again because they got Jordan. But that was later in his career. We're talking about a 6-year span in his career. LeBron has had these expectations since he came into the league. Okay. Kobe didn't have those expectations. Kobe had the upside potential that people looked at that kid and was like, he's going to be a star, right? But They paired him with Shaq right away. You know, there was no expectation of Kobe to carry the Laker franchise right away, you know, because we had Shaq. We had Phil coming in after that, you know, so it was this is why the edge that I will give or concede to LeBron supporters who might argue that he's the GOAT. It's that nobody has ever played with the expectations year in and year out that this guy has had on him. Some of them are self-imposed, right? Because he does talk sometimes a big game himself. But 10 finals? I mean, he's 4-6. I get that. But let's think about the teams that he lost to for a quick second. Okay. He lost to one of the last 20 years. There's 3 dynasties that have been around. The Lakers, the Warriors, and the San Antonio Spurs. Mm-hmm. Okay. All of LeBron's titles, with exception to one that he's lost, have been to 2 of those 3 dynasties. Mm-hmm. The one exception being the Dallas Mavericks.
Mavericks, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's wild to think when you think about it, and this is why it's like, again, the expectation. He at least got to the dance.
Yeah. No, you're right. That's fair.
You know,
that's
and I remember hearing, and I used to be one of them, you know, they used to be like, yeah, but he plays in the Eastern Conference, you know, like he plays, you know, like, because the West to me has always just been more stacked than the East for the last 20 years. Yeah. You know, it's weird how that's been the case. But as the Heat have shown, right, since LeBron left the Cavaliers, excuse me, mm-hmm. the Raptors got to the finals. A 5-seeded, even though we all thought they were really good as a 5-seed and a dark horse, 5-seeded Miami Heat got to the NBA Finals. Mm-hmm. You know, next year I wouldn't be surprised if it's another team that gets to the NBA Finals from the East. So my point is, prior to LeBron leaving, but when LeBron was in Cleveland, it's almost like we penciled in the Cavs. Because we were like, oh, well, the East is so weak, you know, so pencil in LeBron. It's almost like we took him for granted, right? Like he's gonna get them there, so I'm no longer impressed.
So it almost feels like you're making a counter argument against LeBron getting to the finals because he had such a quote unquote easier road to get there out of the East. Because that's what a lot of LeBron haters here who are Laker fans, LeBron haters would always argue is like he has the easier road out there in the East. Let's see what he does on the tough Western Conference. That's why Kobe can't get there, you know, with a little bit of help that he has. So, but to going back to what you said about Jordan being the GOAT and the expectations being there later in his career and not so much early on. He got those, he would meet those expectations every year with the exception of the 2 years he took off. He got there to the finals and not just got there, but won those titles. He was undefeated,
and that's why to me Jordan is still the GOAT.
Right.
He never lost in the finals. Never lost.
And those numbers really are undeniable. But you also got to look at the numbers of just being there. So that's a very fair point.
Exactly.
So do you go Jordan 1, LeBron 2, and Kobe 3, right?
Oh, I don't even have Kobe as 3, though, to be honest. I've never had Kobe as 3. I always had Kobe at one point, not always, but before LeBron became a Laker again. I'd say up until 2012, I always had Kobe as number 3, number 4 of all time. I always had it as Jordan, number 1. I had Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as number 2. I had Tim Duncan as number 3. And I had Kobe as number 4. That was my top 4 up until 2012. And LeBron has basically usurped 3 of those 4. And it's just Jordan that stands ahead of him, you know?
Wow.
So, yeah, that's just me, though. And that's for a separate pod. We can go down that
whole
list.
NBA GOAT. That's gonna be a conversation that never ends. Donald.
Yeah.
Who do you have as your NBA GOAT?
Well, currently, definitely Michael Jordan. I don't think you can ever knock Michael Jordan off number 1. Like I don't see the argument for why anyone would go above Jordan.
Ever? I don't know Donald A. Smith. I don't know if I could ever say ever. But
Get
please
served
continue.
up with his hot take. He's giving you
First
his
of
hot
all-
take right now.
First
Please
of all,
continue.
let me
Please
explain. First of all, but yeah, Jordan for sure number one. I want to say LeBron definitely won me over at number two. And I guess the only thing I'm kind of proud of myself for is for not being like this super anti-LeBron person.
Right. I agree.
Even during that time when there was the back and forth with the Warriors, which was a huge thing. Because I always look back at like how much the Warriors won 3 titles in such a short amount of time, and it took LeBron a long time to get to 3. So, but again, the Warriors were just a different team. It was a different style, 3-point shooting. No one was expecting that happening.
Dude. Not just that. Look at that lineup. They were stacked beyond stacked. Like,
Yeah,
they were.
they developed 4 really good players.
They developed
3
3
good
really
players.
good players.
Danny Green, Klay Thompson, and Curry. That turned out to be what turned out to be that Warriors team.
Wait,
and
did you
then
call
added
him?
KD.
Did you just call? Wait, you said Danny Green?
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
Draymond Green.
you mean Draymond?
I mean Draymond Green. Sorry.
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
you got Danny Green. I was like, did you just call Danny Green a great player?
Yeah. No.
He's in
Danny
Green,
Green.
privates, dude. You better show him respect.
Yeah. Draymond Green, Steph Curry, and Klay Thompson. 3 guys that no one really thought were gonna be where they were gonna be, and their value just shot up overnight. It looked like, but obviously they were in the league for a while. But they were definitely like a sleeper that just turned out to be great. But so LeBron 2, and then it's hard to argue Duncan and Kobe. I feel like they're very hand in hand to me because you can't dismiss Duncan and what he did. When we talk about just power forward, I would say he is the best power forward I've ever seen. Yeah. But with Greg Pop and what they accomplished, that was huge. So I think like for me in third place, it is a tie between Kobe and Duncan. But I guess being a Laker homer, I'm gonna put Kobe third and then Duncan fourth. So
see, for me, always being that Laker homer, and I do not care because this is when I'm a Laker homer, and I'm going to be straight out with you. It's Kobe for me, always going to be number 2, even over LeBron's stats. And I'll tell you why. Because of the numbers he's putting up in LA. And I understand the stats don't lie that LeBron deserves to be number 2, but in my heart, Kobe's always going to be better than LeBron because of what he did. He never left the Lakers. He could have left. He wanted to leave. He was going to leave, but then he got talked off the ledge by the great Dr. Jerry Buss there.
Well, the question, if the question is who's the greatest Laker of all time, it's not even close. Kobe is the greatest Laker of all time. So that I will concede to you. But
that's
to say
why,
he's the
because
greatest,
the Lakers are the greatest franchise of the NBA after tonight. LeBron is. Then Kobe then is.
No,
de facto,
it's not de facto.
The greatest player of all the NBA.
That's like saying Bill Russell's the best player of all time because he has the most
he's second
chips.
best. Tied for first.
So I wish I'd love to live in a world where I wish that what you just said, Alex, was true. That Kobe was the second greatest player of all time. Hell, the best player of all time, right? Because there were things that he did that Jordan couldn't even do. Again, one last thing for this LeBron argument, though, that I will point out is if we're going to compare to Kobe and I hate to do this with Kobe because to me Kobe is so much a part of this exact title that we're celebrating tonight and this year because unfortunately of his passing, and again, like, that was my favorite player. It feels good to know that the Lakers franchise honored what he meant to the franchise. Absolutely. By delivering this title, and that LeBron, more importantly, that LeBron and the rest of the team were really about that it wasn't just lip service, that you could tell that, it meant a lot to them to deliver this chip. With that said,
Kobe the GOAT.
Kobe and Jordan, it's like the Tom Brady, Bill Belichick thing. They'd never won it without Phil. LeBron has won it with 3 different coaches now, and he's gone into the finals with about like 6 or 7 different coaches.
That's fair. That's
which,
a really good
if we're just gonna knock coaches and be like, who needs a coach? Then it's like, what are we talking about here? Then, so that's part of the equation that I feel like doesn't get looked at enough. Where it's like, dude, LeBron, and not only that, Jordan in his case never did it without Scottie. right? LeBron kind of had 3 different sidekicks, and it's like there's a common denominator there, right? Is it that he had a great sidekick, or is it that all his sidekicks were good enough, but they had LeBron? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, which was the common denominator? Because Dwayne Wade was obviously great in his own right, you know. And this is the part that I look at when LeBron haters talk, and especially Laker LeBron haters when they talk to go after him and they say, "Oh, you know, he had Dwayne Wade, etc. You know, he had Kyrie." Boom, boom, boom. It's like, whoa! I'm not gonna let y'all just disrespect my man Pau Gasol like that. I'm not gonna just let you disrespect Shaq like that.
Yeah,
you know, Kobe won 5 titles.
Or Robert Horry.
Well, of course, we all know your role players always matter. But he won 5 titles: 3 with Shaq, 2 with Pau. Mm-hmm. And he's 5-1 in the finals. 3 finals with Pau, 3 finals. Oh, I'm sorry, 5-2 in the finals. 4 finals with Shaq, 3 finals with Pau, 5 chips with a combination of the 2. So let's not attack LeBron for the teammates that he's had, because Jordan, if you ask me, Scottie Pippen's one of the top 40 player all time in the NBA. Top 30, I might even say. Some might say top 20. Yeah. But and he always had that dude, and he always had Phil Jackson. So this is why it's like, oh, guys, we're not using our full brains. You know, it's like we got to think about everything here.
You know, that's very fair. Laker fans open up the tunnel vision, see everything, see the whole court, have that great court vision like King James, as King James would have. So Laker fans, as we were talking about how spoiled we are to win this championship, we're already thinking, when's the next one? Next year, right? we don't win them one at a time. Usually we got to win them in pairs, threes. That's how we win these titles.
That's right.
So next year, the reigning, defending NBA champion Los Angeles Lakers, will they reclaim their title already? We're still celebrating tonight, but we're already looking at reclaiming. Donald, you're going to start us off here. What's up?
I believe that the West is going to be as strong as ever. Obviously, we don't know what Golden State's going to look like, but I do feel good about this Lakers team. I feel that they have rhythm. Defensively, that was insane to see what they did in the finals.
It's a yes or no question.
Yes, I do think they're going to be able to defend that title again. And they're going to go back. So that's the only thing. It's just a matter of just going through a lot of stuff's happened since this finals, right? The Antony's gone at Houston. We don't know how strong Houston will look, or whether the new coach is going to be able to put them up. Will they be up to par? A lot of shakeups going to happen. I am curious to know when the season's going to start. So
it's looking like January, right?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be next year for sure. Like January, maybe February, March, the latest. But man, I just hope that like all the other teams are probably doing. They're just as where they're at right now, so that the Lakers can still keep it going. But I would hate to see one of those teams sneak up and be the team that upsets it. But definitely, I love what this Lakers team looks like. I like how Frank Vogel uses the rotations, and he's really smart about it. I mean, he didn't need Dwight or McGee, so that was insane, to see that a centerless type of thing, even though he shifted AD to that, but we all know he's not a natural center. But the fact that they were able to pull off these different things, it felt like watching like a Voltron or something, like just putting the right pieces together. So it was cool. But man, I'm really excited. I hope that the team comes back, at least the 6-7 guys that we constantly use, and then see what else they can do to get stronger. I mean, we didn't see Avery Bradley, so maybe that'll be cool to see him come back. So yeah, definitely have high hopes for this team, and the expectations there that they got to defend the title. So
I love the way no mention at all of the Inglewood Clippers there as your teams to look out for. I mean, you're more concerned about Houston, it seems like, but I think a lot of us should be concerned about the Inglewood Clippers, right, Sonny?
Let's find out who their head coach is going to be first, and if Paul George is still on the team next year.
Yeah, is he a free agent?
No.
Okay. But they signed a 2-year deal.
But there's a chance they might shop him. Sources say.
Are you
They
getting
gave a
this
lot for
information
him.
from Stephen A. Smith again?
No, not Stephen A. But
Oh, Skip Bayless this time?
yeah, nah, fuck that guy. Yeah, I will say. I will say, first order of business is Anthony Davis, come to my office. We got to talk contract because he's and that's the thing with this pandemic shortened season. We don't know how that's going to affect the revenue for the NBA, aka the salary cap implications. So I wonder if AD just signs a 2-year deal or 3-year deal. Whereas maybe before he was looking for maybe like a 4-year deal, a 5-year deal, et cetera, et cetera. So we got to lock him down. Obviously, he's going to re-sign. You know, there's no scenario where he's not, whether it's, maybe a short-term deal. Once we do that, though, I think we only got 4 other guys committed on the books with a few other players that have player options. But I feel like there's a trade to be made here somewhere. I do think in order for us to, because, you know, any title team needs to retool. As much as I'd love for everyone to run it back, I don't know if this team, because we are an older Laker team, I don't know if this team could handle that fully loaded Western Conference that, you know, we're talking about.
Yeah.
All being a year older. I mean, again, LeBron being as remarkable as he is, he's going into now age 36 and his 17th season. And it's like, at some point here, right, he's going to slow down. I mean,
yeah, no, it's true.
I hope it's not next season, but this is why AD is the priority, right? It's like, let's lock him in because he's our future. But I do think there's a move to be made. Maybe it's Kuzma and a draft pick. We have a few mid-level exceptions. We don't have a lot of money to spend, but we do have a lot of expiring contracts. So, you know, we all know how teams like to deal with expiring contracts. So maybe we can acquire a playmaker, just somebody else. Like, again, shout out to Avery Bradley, who unfortunately didn't get to, you know, enjoy this moment with the team, but he was a major player for the Lakers before the bubble. And I can only imagine if he was here, I think it would have been that much easier, quote unquote easier, you know, to actually wrap this up. But if we can get another playmaker, and I'm talking about not like a AD LeBron level playmaker, I'm talking about, you know, mid-level type guy, then yes, I would say I love our chances to go back to back. But we'll see. I think there's still too much to be seen in the off season for me to make. So we'll revisit this in 3 months.
Real quick, I think a position that definitely they got to start looking into now, whether they get it in a draft or not, is a point guard.
Yeah. I agree.
That's definitely a priority outside of AD being staying is a point guard. We need a Jamal Murray type dude.
well, we ain't gonna get Jamal Murray.
No, we're not gonna get Jamal Murray, but someone like that. Because again, like LeBron's technically de facto point guard, and like you said, he is getting older. So we got to start figuring out who's gonna take over that spot.
But it's got to be somebody that you trust with the ball. I mean, look at how important Rondo was in these playoffs, because it was somebody that Frank Vogel trusted, and frankly, that LeBron trusted with the ball, to allow LeBron to not have to worry about playmaking all the time. So it's got to be. That's why I feel like maybe it's not through the draft, because that's more so for the future. But we got to trade for somebody who's heady like that, somebody like a Drew Holiday type player. You know,
Lonzo Ball.
Lonzo did enough for us to get this title. Thank you, LeVar Ball. Thank you, Lonzo Ball, for your contributions to this title. You will never be.
NBA. Fred VanVleet from Toronto is out there, free agent. Goran Dragic from Miami is out there. He's healthy.
Yeah, I don't know. I got to look at the full list of.
There's options. I mean, and like to your point, I think that's the biggest key, the point guard position, right? That's what we should be looking at the most. Lockdown AD first, then point guard.
Correct.
Where we go. Nice.
And I think bring back Boogie. I would say bring back Boogie Cousins.
Really?
I'd say sign him up. He could be our new McGee. Essentially.
Yeah, McGee. That's what I was thinking about too. He's the guy that he would replace.
I would be okay with us bringing back Dwight. he's a free agent. He technically took a 1-year prove-it deal.
Yeah.
I feel like he earned
deserves a 2-year contract.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, kind of a mid-level vet minimum type deal. Hopefully he'll give it to us, but I'd love to bring him back, even though down the stretch again, like today, Vogel benched him. He didn't sniff the court. He shot a 3 at the very end, so he did.
That's
win at the very end.
Yes, that was nice.
He made it too. So,
But for the season, you know what I mean?
yeah, he was.
You got to reward him. Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
For the great
There was a
season.
lot of. I got to call out all Laker fans out there who were killing him when we first were re-signing him, because I remember having those discussions. They were like, "Oh no, not Dwight, soft," blah blah blah. And it was like, "Yo, I don't think you understand the value we're getting in Dwight for this amount of money."
Mm-hmm.
To not be our guy.
Yeah.
So, I hope those dudes are not going too hard on him nowadays. So,
well, no, that's you got to celebrate this entire team for this team championship. And everybody contributed. It was in that bubble. I mean, that's why this championship has to be looked at. I don't know if you look at it more difficult, easier, and all when you look back at this, like 5-10 years later, and you look at that 2020 season champions, all of them from every sport that eventually do win it, you got to look at it as a more difficult championship.
Not every sport. I think NBA was the most unique.
Okay.
I don't think every sport was this. NBA started their season a year ago.
Right.
Okay. They started a year ago next week. They tipped off for the first time in the season. They went 3/4 of the way through, and then the pandemic stopped everything.
Right. Just as it was about to get to like the playoffs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Stopped everything for 3 months. Then they started back in this bubble, the only league that was in a bubble for the entirety of the remainder of the season.
Yeah. Also had the MLS bubble though.
That was a tournament. That was a tournament.
One little tournament.
Yeah, but it wasn't.
Give a shout out to the Portland Timber bubble
right.
champions.
That's right. So I think the NBA was the most unique. That's what we'll look back at. Hopefully that's what we remember. That to me, this was the most challenging of all of the other ones, because MLB really at the end of the day, all they did was have a shortened season. There was no stoppage. You get what I mean? They just had a shortened season.
Well, they shortened the season halfway through their spring training, their preseason. So they also didn't know, like, are we going to have a season? Are we not going to have a season? It was
but through their own idiocracies that wasn't.
But that takes a toll on the players. Like, do we train? Do we not train? Is it gonna happen? Like a little start and stop. So as athletes, I got it.
It takes a toll on pitchers more than it did on anything else. I mean, MLB, let's face it, is one of the sports out there where not the best, most fit guys are playing at different positions. Whereas NBA, you got to be a fine-tuned machine to be running the court up and down like that, every game. So,
hey man, don't hate on Max Muncy's beautiful physique.
You see, I see. There you go. Your Dodger talk is already coming. You're trying to validate your Dodgers World Series if it happens.
Getting right into the Dodger talk here.
That's right.
The Dodgers are about to start the NLCS as we're recording this on a Sunday night. Monday, tomorrow, the Dodgers take on the hot Atlanta Braves for game 1 of the National League Championship Series. But before we even talk about hot Atlanta, you got to look out for them because they're not going to be easy. The San Diego Padres got served up what they deserve, and that's to be slammed.
Oof.
That's right, Sonny. That's right. Your team that breaks the goddamn yes, they're your team. You adopted them in the National League. I heard you talking all that goodness about look out for San Diego.
I warned you that they're like, listen, let's go back to the beginning of
your little adopted National League team over there.
I think it was episode 3, maybe when I joined. And,
And
I do recall you guys recapping or looking ahead to the next series that the Dodgers are going to play, and Donna was like, "Yeah, they should sweep the Padres. The Padres are a joke. Like they got to handle their business." I think the Dodgers were like 15-1 at this point already, and you guys were upset that they lost like the 1 or 2 games.
Even a series or something.
Yeah, exactly. And I was just there to remind y'all that the Padres were lurking and they were going to make moves, which they did, because nobody expected them to make the playoffs at the beginning of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And they made moves. unfortunately for them,
I mean, they made the playoffs in an expanded playoff year, but still making the playoffs.
They had the second best record in the National League.
Goddamn, you're right. They did.
So what are you talking about?
Poked hole right in that argument there, but go ahead.
They unfortunately got unhealthy at the wrong time. But even then, I don't think that would have mattered. I think the Dodgers were still going to win that series. It was a hard-fought sweep if I've ever seen one. But kudos to the Dodgers. They took care of business. They did what they were supposed to do. And so that was...
That game 2 is the crux for as we talk about game 1 of the NLCS here, because it was a close 6-5 win there, and it was close only because Kenley Jansen gave up 2 runs with no outs, he recorded 2 outs. He did. He got close to getting the save, but then the wheels came off. And it got way too scary there, and the Dodgers still pulled off the win of 6-5. But then game 3 was all Dodgers. I mean, 12-3. I mean, there's your recap. It was a dozen runs that Dodger offense put up. Yeah. Because that's what we expect from this Dodger offense. It could be explosive at times and just put up 12 runs on you.
Padres did not have their starting pitching, Alex. Do not. That'd be like if Buehler and Kershaw were unavailable for the Dodgers, and the Padres were lighting up the Dodgers, and Padres fans were like, this is what we expected, this explosive offense. Your first argument would be, we didn't have our ace or our second guy.
I mean, that would be what our argument was. But, exactly. I mean, on your if you didn't have your ace, why did you only put up 1 run in that first game?
What do you mean?
The Padres only put up 1 run. The ace isn't batting for you. They only put up 1 run in that first game.
But what I'm saying is the ace is going to keep the game close. That's all you want. You want the game close. You want to get to the bullpens as early as possible. And that game in game 1 was close. The Dodgers didn't rip it open into the 6th inning. Correct.
I mean, that's without the ace.
Well, their ace pitched 2 innings in that first game. Mike Clevenger. See, I feel like you have short-term memory, and somehow
I remember all these games.
Mike Clevenger pitched 2 innings. He had to leave because obviously, again, he actually wasn't healthy.
He was hurt.
He tried to give it a go. He Goran Dragic it.
Props to that. Every time athletes are hurt and still trying to go out there and do what they can for the team. But sometimes I wonder if that actually hurts a team like Dragic tonight. It kind of felt like it kind of hurt that team because he were kind of close when he came in, and it's like, okay, here's that spark, and it actually started the run.
It could, because you have to learn again. I mean, not so much when it's in baseball when it's your pitcher, but in basketball, absolutely, because you have to learn how to play with that guy again. You know, you've been clicking without him. Your rotations are completely different, and it's like, oh yeah, Goran's and he likes to do this, he likes to do that. Yeah. So anyways,
it's like when a star DP gets thrown into a mix on a football pitch, and it throws off the whole vibe. But that's another topic.
There you go.
So the Dodgers again with their 1-2 punch of Buehler and Kershaw against Hotlanta, and I'm gonna say for this series, I do expect the Dodgers to win, but I don't expect it to be close. I don't expect it to be as
Freudian sleep.
I don't expect it to be as definitive as the Dodgers 3-game sweep was of the Padres. I really see the Dodgers maybe dropping 2. I don't want to see them drop 3, because then game 7, who knows? And especially with the Dodgers only really 2-man pitching rotation. They don't throw in Dustin May and Julio Urias as like their starters for the 3rd and 4th game as they probably should.
They will in this one because it's a longer series. I mean,
and they would have to. They're playing every day.
It's 4 out of 7, so they're gonna have to do it in this one.
So that's at least my view on this series. I don't expect it to be as dominant for the Dodgers as series win as they had over the Padres. I think I'm going to go on and say 5-game series win for the Dodgers right now.
That's a close series, 4 games to 1.
That's the Bucanes talking, maybe, but maybe it's really going to only be 6. It's really going to be 6. I'm going to hedge my bets. Donald, what are you looking out for in this Dodgers Braves series?
Definitely the pitching. I know Dodgers have a more superior pitching from the 2, but you can't sleep on Atlanta because they got good hitting, so they can throw you off your game. I am expecting this to be a better series than the last. No disrespect to the San Diego Padres, even though
you disrespect them.
I think I did via text a lot. But definitely I feel like this is gonna be more defining for the team. And I know everyone is saying that yes, the Dodgers are the favorites and they have the most stacked roster at bat and also
Because
on pitching, bullpen, and they do, obviously, rightfully so. But I think that this Atlanta team is probably also not gonna turn over. Not saying that they're like the Miami Heat in this finals run, but it feels like they could be that, where they might give them a little bit of problems. But I do feel like in 6 games they'll close it out. I do give Atlanta like 2 games. I feel like they'll probably take 2. I could see that happening. But yeah, and as a recording right now, on the other side, an ALCS, Tampa Bay Rays won their first game 2-1. So, that's another thing to look out for is if the Dodgers advance, who they're going to be seeing, whether it's the Astros, the Asterisks, or the Tampa Bay Rays, which if it's the Rays, it'll be cool, right? It's the 2 best teams with the best records on both sides. So, yeah.
I saw a really interesting thing about that the last time the 2 best teams of the 2 leagues met each other was in 2017, the Dodgers and the Astros in that World Series, and how that one ended up with a 7-game series and the Dodgers on the wrong end of it. But we all know what happened. The Astros are terrible dog cheaters. So we don't really count that as a World Series win for them. We have the asterisk there. Sonny, you gave a little finger point there to the Tampa Bay Rays winning, and makes me think, should the Dodgers be worried about going up against them in a 7-game series if they get there?
You're talking about you want to jump to the World? You want to jump straight to the World
Dodgers got to take care of business
course.
first. Don't get me wrong. I am not as confident. As confident as I am, the Dodgers will take care of Atlanta in 6. I'm also if it goes the other way, I'm not going to be surprised either. But I do expect them to get it done. Go ahead.
There will be plenty of opportunity for us to dissect the World Series because if it happens, it's a week. Well, it's going to happen one way or the other. We will talk about it, but whether the Dodgers participate or not remains to be seen. My pick, before I give you some Rays talk, my pick for the NLCS is I do expect the Dodgers to win. I'm picking the Dodgers to win. I don't see it going any less than 6 games. So I'm inclined to believe it's going to go 6. I wouldn't be shocked if it goes 7.
Yeah.
And that's just because the Braves have also great starting pitching. Max Fried, Ian Anderson, the rookie, has been lights out this season. To me, the Braves offense is eerily similar to the Dodgers offense in that they can manufacture runs very easily. If you ask me, Mookie Betts is washed out with Ronald Acuna, because Ronald Acuna is, to me, that when Trout's not playing, the best player in baseball is Ronald Acuna.
Wow.
Oh yeah, I'm not alone in this thinking. If you step outside a Dodger bubble, you'll learn that there again. Mookie's a top 5 player also in my mind, but Ronald Acuna is
I have always heard Mookie is the number 2 best player after Trout, and I know Acuna's in the top 5. I didn't.
No, man, Ronald Acuna is here. That dude is the second best player in baseball. But again, all things being equal on the offensive side, I still maintain the Dodgers are the deeper team. And there is something about this Dodger team, and maybe it is the Mookie effect, where they just look a little bit more locked in right now than they have in all the years past. So if that continues, then I think it's going to play out really well for Dodger fans, because I think the Dodgers are just going to ride this experience as Donald would put it to the chip. And where I suspected they would meet the Rays, we didn't predict this at the beginning,
right.
But I do remember a certain text chat after the Tampa Bay Lightning won their Stanley Cup championship, and I told y'all they're about to win the MLB championship too, and I gave you the eye emoji, and I think a fellow friend of ours laughed me out of the chat, was like, That would never happen. And I had to be like, oh man. See, this is what happens when Dodger fans don't pay attention to American League teams.
Was that me that laughed you out?
No,
or was it the Yankee fan? Our Yankee fan that's in the chat.
It was our boy, shout out to my boy Richard, fellow LAFC.
Oh, that's right.
LAFC supporter.
Part of the 3252 310, right?
That's right. Nothing but love for Rich, for Richard. But yeah, I remember him laughing and be like, what? Why are you laughing, man? The Rays are stacked. So we'll see if it gets there. I mean, the Rays still got to take care of business against the Astros. It's great that they won game 1. But you never know with these long series, man. The Astros weirdly have like this, also have this chip on their shoulder, which makes them dangerous.
Well, because it's them against the world.
Exactly.
Nobody is rooting for the Astros outside of the people in Houston. Right
and
now.
they want to prove to the world that they never needed to cheat. So that's why they got this big chip on their shoulder. Now, whether they pull it off, I hope they fucking don't, because the bottom line is they cheated. So
it's always one of those be careful what you wish for, which is one of the titles of one of our episodes. But I want the Astros to get to that World Series.
You don't want
and
that.
Meet the Dodgers. I know,
You
because
don't
it's be
want
careful
that.
what you wish for.
You definitely
because
don't
I do
want
want to
that.
get that revenge, but it's also, oh man, do I really want this smoke against this Astros team? Which, mind you, we took 3 out of 4 from in the regular season and only lost that 4th game because the wheels fall off for Kenley Jansen. So I mean, those were 4 games the Dodgers should have taken from the Astros.
You
So
don't
maybe
want
I do.
that smoke,
Maybe I do.
because if it's a big if, and
Big if, right?
and I would be right there in the front lines rooting with the Dodgers with you, rooting on the Dodgers if that series were to happen. But if the Astros were to actually somehow, without cheating, or that we know that they're cheating, pull off that World Series win against the same Dodger team with Mookie Betts, then it's like all of us baseball fans don't ever want to hear Dodger fans complain about the title that they got robbed out of, because it was served up on a plate for them. And that's why I say it's almost better the revenge was served up on a plate is what I'm speaking to. And that's why I'm saying I wouldn't even want to mess with that voodoo at all. I just want the Astros to go away, let the Rays handle them, let the Dodgers and Rays play, and we can all continue to say that the Astros would have never won had they cheated. And that's what I'm hoping for.
No, I do want that chance at revenge. I think the Dodgers would welcome that matchup, and they would smash them in that, and that would be a 4-game sweep.
Did you see how comfortable? I mean, granted, the Astros and Dodgers wouldn't be
against.
The Astros and Dodgers won't be playing at Chavez Ravine. They'll be playing where the Dodgers are playing now at Globe. Is it Globe Life Park?
Arlington,
the Rangers.
Yeah.
Rangers Field.
Yeah.
Which is another advantage for the Dodgers. I think it's something that most people haven't taken into account, that all of the games that the Dodgers are playing are essentially in the World Series stadium. So they've gotten really comfortable with it, which it only has to be what's the word I'm looking for?
A field advantage, because they will get used to the dimensions of the field.
Yeah, exactly. Although your American League teams are familiar with it also, because in a regular season they play there also. But
But to counter that argument, though, the Astros would actually have an advantage because their fan base is in the same state, and they could actually travel to the games because, I mean, they're going to allow fans for these World Series games.
I mean, did you not just say that Laker fans, who we also know are Dodger fans, are literally outside on the streets right now celebrating a title? I would not put it past Dodger fans to travel to Texas for the World Series,
I mean,
especially against the Astros.
I know as soon as the Dodgers took care of the Padres in the NLDS, I immediately went on StubHub and tried to find tickets for that World Series. And I was looking what days they're playing, what days there's having games. And I'm like, oh, maybe we could go to this one. Tickets are too expensive. I'd rather watch it on TV. I'd rather watch it at home. COVID free for now. So that's just me. But like you said, Dodger fans are going to make their way out. It's the World Series. But then I also feel like as a Dodgers fan, it doesn't feel right to watch a Dodgers World Series game and not be in Dodger Stadium. So
what I was going to say earlier, and you just reminded me, was how comfortable the Astros have looked at Chavez Ravine.
But they're not facing, of course they should look comfortable. They're not facing Dodger pitching, so they should look very comfortable. the dogs, and of course they, I
See, there
I
you go,
cannot stand
smacking the
Astros.
American League, not facing There's that Dodger elitism. You don't tell me who they faced. Tell me who they faced.
They faced a tough Oakland A's team.
Who were the pitchers? What were the names?
Was it Chapman? Was Chapman? No, I know that Astros. That A's pitcher, he's really good. God damn it, his name escapes me. But the Dodgers played against him back in 2018. I want to say.
Yeah, that one guy.
Oh, God damn, they're Ace, and it's something with an M, and it totally escapes me right now. Manea, right?
Sean Manea is not their ace. I think Mike Fiers. Mike Fiers started that. The infamous Mike Fiers.
That's right.
The Fiers who let the cat out the bag about said right. Astros.
The whistleblower.
Yeah, pretty much started that series against them. But anyways, that was a long time ago. So
yeah, that was a lifetime ago.
Yeah.
Also today, the LA Rams were in action, taking on the Washington football team. That was a 30-10 win for the Rams. They looked in control the whole game. Had a little tough spot in the third quarter, but it was slippery, really rainy out there for that game. But the Rams came out with a W there. At one point, Jared Goff ran in for a touchdown. He went to spike the ball, but the rain, the slippery ball slipped out of his hand on the spike, and he had an epic fail moment on the spike attempt out of there. Jared Goff, man. He can't even get the spike right. Poor guy. But he had a good performance out there. He threw for 300 yards. That's an improvement from the 200 yards he threw last week, and I was ready to bench him already. 2 touchdowns, 1 INT, not bad. But Cam Akers, they had a 3-man running game for this game, and it was really impressive to see Cam Akers back from the rib injury. He ran for 61 yards. The longest one he went for 46 yards. So that was really good. And also a rushing, I believe it was a passing touchdown thrown to Hendo, Darnell Henderson Jr. there. That was good. I mean, it was a really impressive team win to see this, and they needed this win against a far less superior NFC East team. Now the Rams have beaten all. They're NFC East champions now. They've beaten the Redskins. They've beaten the Cowboys. They've beaten the Eagles. So I mean, and they've beaten the Giants, who are the winless Giants still. And the only loss so far is to the Buffalo Bills, which I think at the recording of this, are they still undefeated? I'm not 100% sure.
They're playing.
They play Monday night.
Tuesday.
That's right. It got moved,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, they're playing Tuesday.
God damn that quarterback! I hate him.
Josh Allen.
Jake Allen, right?
Josh Allen.
That's right. God damn it. Josh Allen. So big win for the Rams going into the rivalry game that is on Sunday night against the San Francisco 49ers. How did the 49ers do today, Sonny?
All right, so I'll make this quick since I know this episode's a little bit longer because of all the Laker talk. So I'll make this quick for the listeners out there. But the Niners were 2 thumbs down today. They played like dog shit. The Miami Dolphins spanked them. And I'm concerned. I'm concerned about our matchup heading against this good Rams team. I will say good, not great.
Decent.
Not say good. You guys are a good team. And it's a divisional game. But with that said, it's a divisional game. So
who's your quarterback going to be that game?
It's going to be Garoppolo. Garoppolo was benched.
I love the laugh out of Donald there.
Garoppolo was benched today mainly because he played like shit, but he played like shit trying to come back early from his ankle injury.
That's good point. Once again, players come back from injury too soon to help the team. Sometimes doesn't always work out.
Exactly. So I'm pretty sure. I think Kyle Shanahan already confirmed it. Also, that Garoppolo's still the starting quarterback, so there is no controversy.
Yeah.
But yeah, we did not look good today.
Take your L, man. It's all good, man.
It's you know what? To me, the season was done when all our players went down in week 2. So
you ain't kidding, man. You guys still found the W's there with the depleted team. So big ups for that. Donald, your San Diego Chargers are playing tomorrow night as we're recording this.
Yes, tomorrow night against the Saints. It was a little bit concerning because they were saying that they might have to have moved the game due to the hurricane that was going to hit, but I think they got a downgraded tropical storm. Mm-hmm. And I think the Saints also were kind of protesting that they wanted the game to play in New Orleans because the alternate field would have been the Indianapolis Colts field. So that's going to happen tomorrow. barring any other news. As we're recording this, I want to say there's 2 games for tomorrow too as well. I don't know if you guys saw that, but last week there was 2 Monday night games. One of them was on CBS, which was pretty cool seeing.
They already
Tony
postponed the
that's right,
Patriots Broncos, I think. Was
it? Yeah, Broncos Patriots.
Yeah, that's
2 p.m. game.
The 2 p.m. game. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the Patriots had to shut down their training facilities. Too much COVID outbreak. It's going COVID crazy over there. So it's insane.
There's also a Tuesday afternoon game coming up. Bills and Titans.
Yeah, that's the Bills.
Yeah,
game.
Bills and Titans. That's the one that's being made up because of the Titans outbreak. It's insane seeing how the NFL's trying to navigate through positive COVID tests. Like they're really just forcing games at different days now. So it's just insane. Like it's crazy seeing it. But then I wouldn't put it past the NFL that this is what they're gonna do. That they're not gonna shut down the season. They're gonna just move it back, or you're getting your bye week early, something like that. So yeah.
There's gonna be a Wednesday 9 a.m. game one day. It's just gonna happen. It's just so crazy right now. But any way to get these games in.
Speaking of COVID, that's a transition for your next sport.
Oh, the good news for us in MLS and COVID is we didn't have to suffer through our Galaxy on the field overall at all and just have to suffer through that game. But they didn't lose, so that's good news. The Galaxy had to postpone their game against was it Real Salt Lake?
Colorado Rapids.
Oh, sorry. They had to post their game against the Colorado Rapids because of the outbreak that they're dealing with now. The LAFC was supposed to play them on Wednesday, right?
Correct.
And that one was also postponed. Mm-hmm. So let's see what MLS does to postpone those games. But LAFC was in action tonight. And how did they look, Sonny?
They looked pretty damn good, man. They played the first place, at least the Western Conference first place team, the Seattle Sounders, the defending MLS champs who have owned us the last couple matchups. And we did not have 3 of our best players due to international duty. 1 to injury, Carlos Vela, get well soon, and 2 due to international duty in Brian Rodriguez and Diego Rossi, who were playing for Uruguay. And then in the second minute, we lost Mike Anthony Kay due to injury. So,
oh no!
And then his backup Andy Nahar came in and he got injured and had to be subbed out like 10 minutes after that. So, needless to say, as the game started, I was kind of flipping back and forth because it started roughly right before the Laker game started. So I had it on a second screen once the Laker game got rolling. But I was not expecting a good result. I was hoping for maybe a draw, but to my surprise, the team pulled it out. They won 3-1. Seemed like Seattle didn't know how to play with LAFC's injuries. Maybe like they had prepared for this certain team, and now that playbook went out the window. So it was a good win, man. It was a good solid win. We're catching a little bit of a roll, which is nice. It's always nice to beat a team above you. I mean, Galaxy, it seems like whenever they win, it's a team above them. So you guys know what that's like.
It's really easy when you're in the cellar to beat a team above you. Granted, yes.
So, all things considered, it was a great, except for my Niners. It was a great Sunday evening of sports. Obviously, even if LSU had lost, who am I kidding, man? The Lakers winning this title is enough to last me for 6 months of sports euphoria. So it's all gravy at this point, It's I'm not greedy. I only expect one. I hope one of my favorite teams to be in contention for a title in any sport, one per year. And if one actually delivers me a title, it's like, I'm sitting with house money now, So
it is Championship Sunday tonight for us as we're recording this, and we're really happy the Lakers once again. The Lakers have captured championship number 17, Sonny.
Yeah,
number 17.
Just because I hate the Celtics, fuck the Celtics. Yeah, it's number 17, baby.
I understand your opinion on the Minneapolis Lakers franchise, but still, that's number 17. God damn it, that's very fair. And don't forget this NBA bubble. What they were saying from the beginning, why they stopped games for a while too. Realize the racial injustice in this country right now. Don't forget to go out and vote November 3rd. If you've gotten your mail-in ballots already, fill them out. Do your best to study all the propositions. There's a dozen of them right now on the ballot. Do what you feel is best for your community, for your family. Research everything as much as you research everything. You have to do it. This is our civic duty to do this. Go out and vote, study up on it, and make the right decision. November 3rd, the election. Guys, always a pleasure to sit here and talk sports with you guys. You guys are awesome. Donald, Sonny, thank you guys again.
For sure,
Hey,
man.
can we get a little bit of that intro music on the outro, Donald? I just want to hear that one more time, man. I just want to hear that song.
Drives again, back to Davis. Davis for three. Bang! Anthony Davis from downtown. And the Lakers take a 9-point lead. Timeout, Miami.
This is West Box Score. Thank you for listening. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at West Box Score. Thank you again, Sonny Romano from the Fox Crate podcast. Be sure to follow him at the Fox Crate. Tune in next week. We'll talk to you later. See ya.
Peace.
Later.
California purple gold. And the Laker Kings, 'cause we down with the crazy.
Final seconds here in this NBA season. The respect from those two. And that's it. It's over. This historic 2020 NBA championship belongs to the Los Angeles Lakers. The Lakers conquer the bubble, and banner number 17 will soon hang in the rafters.